Our next guest may be known for his artistic talents. He pushes culture through combining street art with politics, human rights, and other topics that may be less palatable for us to have in our daily lives. You may know him from his artistic debuts, all the way in Miami, from Art Basel, to here in LA, Santa Monica. But as you know, here on the Introduction Podcast, we like to dive a little deeper than the surface. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce you to Rich Ingram, aka Bourn Rich. So you said you're coming from Burbank?
Well, Toluca Lake, Burbank.
Okay, is that where you live now?
Yeah. I was raised in like Silver Lake, though. You know where Silver Lake is?
Yeah.
So I was raised in that area.
Okay, I did. I mean, actually, that kind of makes sense. Especially, I feel like Silver Lake's like the hub for art in LA.
It is really. It's really now. It's like really like a place to be. But back then, you tell people like you live in Silver Lake, they're like, "Where is that?"
Uh-huh.
But now it's kind of like it's a trendy thing. A lot of artists and writers and stuff.
Okay, I did. I did some research, and you were born in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can you talk about what that? Just so you know, we're rolling too.
Okay.
So, can you talk about what it was like growing up? You know, as long as you did in Chicago, and what brought you to LA?
Chicago was cool. Cold city, like a real city, like gritty, like fights and stuff like that. But I didn't stay too long. But yeah, it was beautiful. I remember like some of my first memories are like on the 23rd floor, Lawless Garden, like overlooking the water. So um, even at a young age, my mom had me around 23, so she was pretty doing pretty good for herself at such a young age. So it was cool. I remember she all had greenery always around the windows, and every time I would like peek, I could just look at the water. But aside from that, I can go to my dad's house, who was on the west side, and it's a little more grimier. You have the L train like going by
Right by the window.
literally like maybe one or two doors away. So like you would feel it maybe every like 30 minutes or so. You feel the rumble and hear it. But yeah, it's cool. It's just Chicago. But I got out of it kind of early. My mom and dad split up when I was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
So mom always wanted to come to LA. She always had a dream to come to LA. So we came out here and tried to make it happen.
Were your parents artists too, or are they artistic at all?
No, my cousin, like people in my family are artistic. My uncle, my late uncle, was really artistic, a poet, a writer. He would like draw sketches with pen and pencil all the time. My older cousin, Charlie Tuna, who he's like an entertainer now, but he's an artist too. He paints and stuff. But I used to raid his closet when we lived in Chicago, and I would just find comic books after comic books.
Yeah.
So from there, I would just like sketch and try to like copy pictures that I saw.
I see it a lot in your art too.
It's like you can see that era and time. Yeah, that's when I fell in love with art, when I would just dive into that like trash bag full of comics and just find stuff and then try to recreate it. So artistic people in my family, but not really my parents.
Okay, that's so. For your art, what would you say? Is there a specific genre that you would categorize your art in?
Well, I paint murals. I do street art, so I try to like bring like the streets into people's homes when I do pieces like this. So it's like a cross between like pop art, street art, and like really trying to get a message across. Most of these have messages. Like the middle piece is about wisdom, about Proverbs 8, which talks about wisdom as a woman. And if you treat her the right way, she'll treat you right in the long run. She'll give you like long life, good health, riches, and stuff like that. But if you treat her wrong, you don't learn from your lessons in life, she'll lead you down the road of ruin and stuff like that. That's why it says like walk on eggshells and I don't love you anymore and all this stuff. So yeah, they all have a meaning, but they look like real poppy. You can put it like in a kid's room.
Yeah. Do you prescribe to a certain way of thought in terms of where you derive your meaning from? Like where's the meaning or like the origin story behind the art coming from?
It could be anything. It can be something that I heard on TV or like just anything, literally. I always was a person that just had like thoughts or would jot down something that I heard or saw, you know. So if it's something on the news or something, or I hear something, I'll talk about it. The one behind you is about like politics and like liberals and Republicans and having the thick skin. If not, you can be taken to the wolves, and after that, it's over. You know, that's why we have like the Superman and all the like these notes are debt, public and private. You know, has to do with money and stuff. So yeah, they all have to do with just basically what I'm feeling at the time.
I love that. It's really cool because usually when you talk about politics, or even a lot of people get squeamish about just anything having some type of meaning, or religion, this, that, it's tied into all your art, and it makes it very digestible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I think that's an important.
That's definitely important, and I'm glad you picked up on that. I try to like give like meaningful conversation, but make it digestible. So like, you see it and it's like, oh, it's cute, it's fun, but then you have to dig deeper and see the images. This one behind me is about my frustration with gallery owners and how like now it's all about your following and how many people you got, and not like your actual talent. So you can see like the gallery owner, you got the cat looking at the money. You got this represents me, like my
Your
frustration and anger, But yeah, it's all fun, it's all digestible, and it's I think they look good in people's homes, especially like a nice home like this one.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have a piece I have a lot of pieces that are like my normal size where I do standard, 8 feet tall, 5 feet wide.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I was rating your Instagram, and even on your website, like the pieces that you create are incredible. Like it is like street style, street art, and you have to excuse my ignorance because you're going to teach me a lot today. I don't know too much about the nuances in the art world, but it's like it pops and there's meaning behind it, but it's like it's all very easy to look at. I feel like I've seen art where people create it and they're like, oh, there's this meaning behind it, or there's, I'm trying to purvey this message, but then when you look at it, it's just, it kind of attacks you, and you're like, but with the pieces that you create, it's like a book that you can just kind of read. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's up to you how you want to read that book. And it's subjective, and I think that's what art is about. Yeah, I like to put it in your face. I'll just write something out. I honestly got that from Basquiat because I never really seen writers that were, I mean, not writers, but artists that were actually putting words in their pieces. It's like that provokes thought. You can just say something and flat out mean it, and you don't have to like sugarcoat it or disguise it or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I do. This one right here is it's not on camera, but that one's about basically women's bodies. My body, my choice, and like why are we trying to play the same broken record over and over again, trying to control women's bodies? The title is The Power of the P.
I'm gonna bring those on camera because literally all your pieces are incredible. I want to be able I want people to be able to see them.
Yeah, we'll show that.
But so do you? I mean, it sounds, from based off just the couple minutes that we've spoken, it sounds like you're almost like, for lack of a better word, the hero in this story, and you're standing up for a lot of different people, and sharing a message for people who may not be able to have that voice, or society kind of pushes them down, or whatnot. So where is that coming from? Is that just a natural roll over into your art?
Yeah, I feel like everyone's they're the main person in their own movie, and that's what you make it. And, just coming from my background, being a black man, also being Jewish, I have to stand up for. Can I cuss here?
Yeah, you do your thing.
I have to stand up for shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if not, I wouldn't like the person I see in the mirror every day. If I'm just letting stuff happen and slide, and I don't even voice my opinion or don't say anything about it, yeah, I would feel like for lack of a better word, a coward. There's things out there that some people can't say, so I have to at least stand out or put it on Twitter or put it on Facebook, Instagram, something. Let people know my ideas, what I stand for, what I believe.
No, I respect that, especially like in a day and age where everybody's kind of walking on eggshells. It's a little bit harder to purvey a message that exactly. It's a little bit harder to purvey a message that may not be palatable for everybody if you believe in it, or it's really hard to do. I think a lot of people can do it more tact and be able to understand that not everybody's going to prescribe to the same thought or have the same views. And speaking of, actually, you in one of your blogs, you had mentioned something. It was like, no, it was the blog that you did with Swiss Beats.
Okay.
And you guys were at the art show that they put on, and you were interviewing him. And he had said something, and it was like, I'm butchering it, and people will have to go on your blog, and I'll put it on there, a link so they can see. But he essentially said, what he's trying to do is lay the rubric for other people to follow, because he's been successful and he's been able to make a life for himself and do the things that he's dreamed about. And so now he's focused on laying that rubric and allowing people to follow it and attain whatever their goals are. And, and it seems like you have a similar way of being.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not as far as he is in life, as far as like, the notoriety, but he's a really good dude. Me and him went to high school together in Stone Mountain, Georgia, right outside Atlanta, east side Atlanta. So we would always interact, me and him. He was like the local DJ. He DJed like the school parties and all that. We put on a big party in the Southland, and he DJ'd our party. I draw out the flyer. So I was always like the artistic guy out the group, the fly cool fashion guy, but always like artistic, But I definitely want to lay the groundwork for other people that want to be artists. I've flown around the world. I've done like gone to like little kids orphanages and told them they can be artists, because when you're like down and out like that, you don't really have much hope. So it's like, what are your options?
Yeah.
And especially if you're a creative kid, it's like it's even worse. So if you tell them, you can paint and draw and do what you like, and somehow make a living out of it.
Yeah, you triggered something for me that I want to touch on, but first I want to say, as far, you said you're not as far in life as, and this is literally no disrespect to Swiss Beats, anything like that, but I mean, it seems like you're doing something that you love.
Yeah.
And you're proud of.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, it seems like it's received well. You know what I'm saying? It's like, to me, you are as far in life as you want you to believe. You see what I mean? It's like, this is, to me, is success. Like, you're creating something that's incredible, that other people can get happiness out of, or joy, or a flex, whatever they want to do to put it up in their house. And it's something that you love, and that's a piece of you that you're being able to, like, that to me is like,
that kind of goes to the meaning of my word, or my name, Bourn Rich. It has nothing to do with money. It's about when someone finds like their God-given talent, or whatever it is that God's given them, whether it's athletics, music, sports, poetry, dancing, mine is art. Once you find it, then you're fulfilled in life, and then you feel rich. It's like, it has nothing to do with money or anything like that. So it's just about people finding their purpose and just doing it.
Yeah. Something I touch on a lot in the podcast with people that come on is,
can I put my feet up here?
Yeah, go ahead. Get comfortable. We're chilling. Something that I like to touch on a lot is the fact that the difference between, someone who's quote unquote successful and another person, a lot of the time, is just knowledge. The knowledge that they have the ability to try things, or they have options to do things. And something that you're doing, you're saying, you're traveling around the world, orphanages, this, that, and the other, letting, younger kids who may have the inkling to be artistic, or that want to, pursue something like that, you're telling them that it's something that they can do. And a lot of people, I think, like, an issue that a lot of people have, especially now, is they don't realize that, in life, there are some people that go through life that don't understand that X, Y, and Z is an option.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that even goes to their mind because they've been indoctrinated to think that, you know, their specific reality for that point in time is the only thing that they can, you know, attain.
Yeah.
And you're shattering that,
Yeah.
you know, which I think is cool.
I think I saw you and Colin talking about that.
Yeah.
Where he was like, some people don't realize that you can do whatever you want in your life, you know? So yeah, it is cool. It's awesome to go someplace and brighten the kids' day and let them know that through creativity you can do this. You can travel the world. You can, you know, spread warmth, spread love, spread kindness through color, you know?
Yeah. So what kind of dating us back? I'm sorry. Here, let me do this. So I kind of want to take us back another second.
Okay.
And so you had mentioned you came to LA when you were, you know, between like 3 to 5-ish, with your mom. And you said your parents weren't necessarily artistic, but when does that, you know, you were raiding your cousin's closet and things like that, getting comic books. When does that real push for you putting out your, can you give us like the lead up to it?
Yeah, so you know, we moved out here initially. I lived in a bad part of town. They cut up my like entertainment center to play games. What was it, Atari or something back then? They didn't even take it. They just cut up the cords. It was like, oh yeah.
Well, they like broke in.
Yeah, they broke in.
And just
stole stuff and cut like.
That's evil.
That's haters.
That's evil.
So my mom was like, yeah, we have to leave. We can't be in this neighborhood. So we left that and moved to Silver Lake. It was more welcoming, more multiracial. There, you know, I was a skateboarder, played basketball. So, you know, I was like a free spirit, you know, but I was always sketching and like doing stuff like that. But like the literal like time where I was like, okay, I want to do this professionally was I was burnt out. I was working in video game production for a long time. I was at 2K. And it was just like overwhelming. It was just so much work. And, you know, people think video games is cool. It's like, it's cool, but there's deadlines and there's stuff you have to do. And
especially for such a big game. It's like,
So every year is just really stressful for that whole team. You know, I feel for them guys over there. But I was just getting burnt out. So I was like, I need a work-life balance. And then I was like, you know, I am artistic. So let's paint. Let's see how this goes. So I started painting and I was like, okay, this is fun. Maybe I can try to do this professionally on the side and actually sell pieces and see where this goes. So I sold like my first piece to a coworker for like $75. It was a little tiny piece, but it was like, okay, it was like validation.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you might be on the right path. So that might have been in like, I don't know, 2007 or something. So from like a little kid to like a full grown adult, you know, because you go through high school and stuff and you have art teachers that are like, you're good, but you know, do you want to try to be a starving artist or it's going to be hard and this and that. So they discourage you. They're like, you know, they always say, try something else, but you know. So I did that for a while. I was doing the video game stuff. It was cool for a minute, but it can definitely burn you out because it can consume you, you know.
Can you kind of dive into that? Because I don't know much in terms of when it comes to creating a game. My girlfriend's stepbrother, actually, he created a game for PC, and it seems like he likes it. He does a lot of like the story for the game, and they've had some good success early on. But can you kind of describe the nuances that people may not understand, you know, of what you experienced while creating working 2K? No, go ahead.
I was a mastering lab technician, so I was like between the actual guys that code and do all that and the gamers, the guys that test and play games for 8 to 10, 12 hours a day. So so those guys would send me code and this was back when like we were doing hard disks, you know, so if you have a team of 50 guys waiting for a certain build that's coming, you know, they're like hungry, like puppies, like give me the food, right? So it's like, okay, there's a deadline with rushing to get these guys the product so they can test it and find bugs. So we would go back and forth, and you can do that for like a year and a half till you get, you know, the perfect game, close to perfect game, you know, because you can be, you know, dribbling down the court and just fall through into a
Yeah.
hole forever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, which still happens. Like even after the game is out, there's something crazy. The ball flies. There's a huge guy.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. So they try to get as many glitches and they call them bugs out as possible.
Mm.
But yeah, you just do that back and forth for forever, and then you know you have people that want to like see and play the game before it's released, so you have to send that to them. It's just a lot of marketing and a lot of stuff behind it. You know, there's closed doors that people just think, oh, I saw your name on the end of the game once I beat it. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but it was a grind.
Nightmare.
So yeah, it was cool, but you know, they weren't paying me enough, honestly. So they actually moved me. They had an office in Northridge. We're doing pretty well, so they moved the whole team to Vegas.
Wow.
So
that's either fun or terrible.
It was like, it sounded great. It was like, okay, you're gonna get this moving bonus, and you know the price of life is cheaper out there, and this and that. So I was like, okay, it was cool. We go out there. Maybe the first year was cool, and then after that, I'm like, what am I doing? There's like very few creatives out there. Not to diss Vegas. Vegas is a cool, dope city, but it's
not a hub.
When you come from LA, it's like, you know, it's a big, huge difference. You know, and then it's like the strip is the strip. That's fun. It's cool, but when you're living there, it's like it's a different animal. You know. So yeah, I got burned out, and I was just like, you know, I can't do this anymore.
When you had initially gone in, what was that feeling like of getting a job working with 2K? And is that, you know, you're on a high about,
man, it was dope, a good feeling, man. You come into work, everyone's like, you know, got a good attitude, everybody's hyped to play the game, you know, guys talking shit, you know. There's like the guys that are really good, and there's the guys that are trying to be good, and there's, you know, it's a lot of shit talk. It's like how, you know, you're athletes, that's how like the gym is. Like, you know, there's guys that can hoop, there's guys that can't, water polo, there's guys that are like in between, you know. You get it. So yeah, it's competitive. There's guys that are like, oh, I got, you know, 25 bugs today. Then there's other guys, oh, I only got 2. You know, it's like, so it's a competitive atmosphere. It's really I don't want to say geeky or nerdy, but it's a lot of intellectual guys that know their shit about computers and video games and bugs. And so it's like, it's a grind, but at first it's cool because you just get that name recognition. Like, where do you work? Oh, I work for 2K. Oh, 2K.
Yeah,
I got that at home. So it was cool for the first 3-4 years. Then it fades off. You know,
it's funny because online and, you know, from an outward perspective, you would think, oh man, working for 2K is the dream, like, you know, but it, you know, similar to what we spoke about, everything is so subjective. It's like, just because, and there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting to work at 2K, but there's also nothing wrong with somebody not wanting that.
Wanted to expand.
Exactly.
For sure. There were guys that were there, and they're there for a while, man, and they were just like, you know, I'm here at 2K, my dream job, but they weren't living the dream in their head, you know. I knew a guy, he was so just beat up by the company, man, and it was just hard to look at. You know, what was that movie? It's where they beat up the copier. There's like 3 of the nerdy guys. I'm sure people will tell you what it is, but there's a one guy in that like the office where everyone runs over him. He's like, my stapler, can I have my stapler? And like he never gets a stapler, and then they put him like in the bottom, like in a closet, and he's just still doing his work. He was that type of guy. He's a really nice guy, hard worker, but they would give him like a 25-cent raise. It's like, come on, bro, this guy's working his ass off and you give him a 25-cent raise.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? That's nothing. In the long run, the grand scheme of things for a whole year, what is that?
Yeah. Especially if you're not like insanely passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Make you question.
Yeah. So yeah, I got burned out, and I was like, you know, I need a work-life balance. I started painting. I started trying to get out and do the streets more. Start, you know, asking people for walls and doing murals and just getting my chops up.
So let's dive into that a little bit. So the transitional period between, you know, where you were at 2K, you had, you know, a job that you weren't happy with anymore, and you decided, you know, this is it. I'm gonna go chase what I want, which is art. What does that period look like for you in your life? You're give me the stories of you like asking for walls and trying to get your murals up and things like that.
Yeah, it was a hard time. So basically 2016, I was like, I don't want to do the 2K anymore. So I took a leave of absence, flew out to Israel. You know, I flew with a group called Artists for Israel. Shout out to them. They're a good group of people. So we would ride around the country doing like basically just spreading love, spreading art. There was one guy that was like a t-shirt guy. There was a girl that was like a fashion girl, and there was like a photographer, old school LA photographer, Esteban. I don't know if you heard of him, but you should probably get him also.
He's dope.
OG. Like
Okay.
he used to go on tour with Cypress Hill and all those guys.
Yeah. Oh, dang. So okay. That's
like
crazy.
I have a picture of him taking a picture of me praying at the Western Wall.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
incredible
the illest picture ever. It's like this dude is a historical photographer. But anyway, yeah, we went around the country, did great stuff, spread love, spread artwork. But I was just asking people for walls, and then one day this guy was like, we're gonna be painting walls in Israel. You want to come? I was like, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I want to come. But at first, I was like, is this a scam? How nowadays you can never trust shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. So it ended up being really cool, and I kind of got my chops hanging with like real guys. A guy named Sket. Sket does really playful stuff on walls, but now he does like dolls and stuff. So he's probably a good guy to have on here too. But yeah, from there you just ask around, or you ride around the city and you try to find a wall. Luckily, I met a couple of cool people. There's a guy named Eddie who runs the Fame Yard on Melrose, and that's like where pretty much if you're an artist, you want to get up there. They have little small panels, and then they have like 2 or 3 huge walls. So yeah, Eddie would let me do stuff. I did a big mural that was connected to a short film there.
That's crazy. And then was it like the face of the film pretty much?
It's crazy. I was on a Zoom call and after the Zoom call, someone contacted me and was like, "You'd be great for this part. I'm doing about how the world is like fragmented and how we should come together, and you could be the main character." And this and I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So it was pretty kind of like a documentary, but not really. It kind of just followed me and just what I wanted to do. I wanted to just put like warm and kind messages on people's masks. Because at the time, people were afraid to even touch each other, all that stuff. So basically, I just got a bunch of canvases, chopped them up, and just put messages on them, stuck them on people's masks, took pictures of them. And then at the end, I did a mural of like a really colorful silhouette of the United States with like their pictures in it. So it was cool. At the end of the picture, that was like the main thing. People were like looking at it.
You have that on your blog too, right?
Yeah.
I think it was dope.
Yeah,
that was dope.
Yeah, that was fun. It was just cool just to like see little kids like, oh, that's me, or take a picture with the mask on. But yeah, shout out to Rachel Directs and Connie, the producer.
So leading up, and I do want to touch on, because you mentioned,
I know I'm going everywhere. Huh?
No, I love it. It's your story, bro. I feel like with the podcast, the thing that I want to do is exactly what we talked about. You and I talked about, Colin talked about. There is so much of the world that people don't know about, and like, even if your story is a little bit relatable to someone younger or someone older, that wants to chase something, hearing the trials, tribulations that you've endured, and then also seeing the triumphs that you've endured can probably help that person, push through whatever they're dealing with.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, if you want to go on 17 different tangents, I'm gonna follow you along and just, hopefully we can usher it into something that somebody can take away.
Yeah. But
you mentioned that you're Black and Jewish. And so I don't know if you saw my episode I actually did with a rabbi. It's like the first episode that I dropped. Rabbi Danny Alulian. I don't know if you come out this way, but he's the rabbi at the Gym Center in it's like Century City. But can you talk about your experience? Because my best friends people, the family that lets me use their house, Jewish family. And growing up, it'd been brought to my attention because I said it on the podcast that I didn't know any Jewish people. But after I said that, I had some people reach out. Yeah, I'm Jewish. I was like, I never knew.
A
Because
lot of people just don't throw it out there. Some people, that's like the first thing they say. Hi,
yeah,
I'm Jewish.
well, in LA, it's completely, to me, I'm from a small city in the Bay, and like Jewish population is probably extremely slim to none. And when I come to LA, my friends are like, "Yeah, I'm going to Shabbat every weekend." And I'm like, "Bro, what? No phone? You know, what are we doing?" So, what has your experience been like? Is you're ethnically Jewish or
Yeah, I
religiously?
had to do research after actually going to Israel because it's funny because like my first memory of anything is my mom had a shofar necklace.
Mm.
So um, just it's always been ingrained in me. My first Halloween costume was Moses, so it's like that's all I knew. But I had to do research, and I realized my grandmother, whose last name, her maiden name is Woods, is a Jewish last name, and my other grandmother, Ingram, her last name. So those are two Jewish last names. And once I did the research, I realized that we were forced converted to Christianity when we came here.
Interesting.
So that's a whole another story of trauma. Yeah, once I figured it out, and they always say knowledge is self, especially for Black folks. You have to know who you are, where you come from,
Absolutely,
to know where you're going. So once I knew that, I realized the feeling that I had when I landed in Israel, what it was. I was like, oh shit, this feeling, had crazy vivid dreams, like literally never had them like that ever since then. Like, so it was just a connection. And but yeah, when you tell people that, they have to give you the questionnaire. Is your mom Jewish? And where are you from? And this and that. So that's why probably a lot of people don't just bring it up first thing. But in Silver Lake, I was running around the JCC, kids playing basketball and just having fun and going to people's homes and, just having, regular dinner, not Shabbat, but just being in the atmosphere. So, yeah, now it's definitely a part of my life. I have the mezuzah out my side, my door. I have family in Israel. My daughter's in Israel, so
that's incredible.
It touches close to home when stuff happens, especially like terror attacks and stuff. So it's been crazy. There's a lot of anti-Semitic stuff that's going on too. So to tie my art in, I'm supposed to do a mural in New York City to stop racism and stop anti-Semitism. So hopefully that comes through. Probably get some partners. I think we will probably try to get the Nets, see if they can get involved.
Let's talk after this.
Yeah,
because I think this family could probably help you out.
We're I work with so many groups, but this one is CCFP, Creative Community for Peace. So I already have a sketch, the mock-up already up. I think we're solidifying the wall, and I always have to tie everything back into art, and we just got to stop like the divide in this country.
Yeah, that's my biggest. That's where I'm so confused. Is like, to me, I don't understand why people have such an issue with just allowing others to exist. Yeah, it's like,
it's crazy.
I mean,
it's really crazy. People want to control people. They want to control women's bodies. They want to like have a problem with you worshiping whatever you worship. People want to shoot up churches and synagogues, and a guy just like vandalized the Islamic Center on, like, I think it's Vermont. It's like that Islamic Center's been there forever. Like, and he's just a guy that just I got a marker, so I'm just gonna. So it's like leave people alone, let them be. They don't bother anyone. So yeah, it's just it's calmer. It's kind of under the radar out here, even though it's like bubbling. But yeah, in Israel, it's crazy. They're killing tourists.
Yeah,
there's a tourist on the boardwalk a couple of days ago. He just got ran over, and it's like
the stories that I hear are crazy because, like, we are we're really privileged
Mm-hmm.
to live where we live, and like, yeah, we do have issues, and I'm not, saying that nothing needs to be done about the issues that we have in our country, but on a realistic standpoint, we are really lucky to not, wherever we are, whether it's, you want to be pro Palestine or pro Israel, whatever it is, like, not be at war constantly, having bombs over your head, and it's just
Having to look around, Doc.
mm-hmm. Or being Ukraine. It's just like, we're really blessed, and it's like, even we're just lucky. The fact that we were born in like America,
Crazy.
Imagine if you were born, literally imagine if we were born in like Africa, and like, I'm not saying we're lucky to, go back to slavery,
I know what you're saying.
but it's like the fact that we were born here to not have to deal with some of the issues that a lot of people that look like us have to deal with. It's like,
it's a blessing, and I think we have a responsibility to, either share that blessing or somehow help others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pull others up, or even if it's just enrich someone's day and let them know, hey, art is cool, it's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Even, if you have no supplies, if you're just doing black and white, if you're just doing sketches with a pencil, it doesn't matter,
Absolutely.
So yeah, we definitely are blessed to be born in America. That there's some really poor villages in Israel. I've traveled through them. There's brown and black and Palestinian kids. And I was doing a mural, and some of them were just running around barefoot, like, and they don't have a problem with it, but we noticed it. We're like, man, they don't have kids. They're just like,
it's just life.
They're just enjoying the art. They don't care that they're barefoot, but we're like, where's their shoes? I saw a girl, she was running around with no shoes, but her dad had shoes. I was like, this motherfucker. That shit made me so angry, bro. And that was before I was a father. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, motherfucker, you got on shoes and your daughter's running around this fucking parking lot where we're painting with no shoes on?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, we're blessed, and some people don't show that gratitude, or even just wake up with that gratitude.
Were you always, because you seem very like you're introspective, but you're also like it seems like you have a very kind way of moving throughout the world, right? It's like a very kind of a gentle way of moving throughout the world.
Yeah. I always felt like, if you try to go through the world with a heavy hand, it's gonna come back. Like they say, you live and die by the sword. So if I'm all rah and try to, packing guns and all that, it's gonna come back and slap me in the face. But if I put kindness out in the world, what's the worst that can happen? It can help someone, and it can rub off, and my kindness can, maybe they can be kind to someone else throughout their day or whatever.
Were you always like this? Does this come from like fatherhood? How does this all kind of
I was always like a nice kid, but I remember that in Chicago, like my cousin sometimes would just be like, yo, go punch him in the face. And I was a little kid, that's like Chicago. I was like, okay, you do. Your cousin said you do it, okay. Walk up, punch the kid in the face. Next thing you know, I'm fighting. 3-4 years old, fighting for no reason. But it's like, it's crazy. I'm glad I just got out of that, that atmosphere, because it can be really toxic.
Yeah,
it can breed people like the King Von.
Yeah, absolutely. It just, and we all start from innocence.
Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of the things,
like born kind, born a certain way, like. There's no like kids just walking around slapping kids, for no reason. Yeah, we're all born a certain way, but I always thought, I'm like intense, and when it comes to sports and hooping and playing basketball and stuff like that, I'm a totally different person. It turns on.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm super vocal, it's like. But aside from that, yeah, I'm chill, laid back. I always was taught that it's always better to just be chill and just be quick to listen, not the first one to be speaking and talking all the time.
It sounds like we had a similar upbringing.
Yeah, for sure.
Be seen and not heard. That's what I was told all the time. Yeah.
You don't want to be the loudest one in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to the art, and kind of switching gears a little bit, do you have a kind of a specific way that because you paint, it sees like a lot of your art is painted, correct?
Yeah, I sketch and then I paint.
is there a specific is there a specific way that you go through painting that's, maybe different or nuanced, or, how do you prepare when you're going to start a piece? What does this all
Yeah,
look like?
I always try to pick up a bunch of reference, either images or like words or ideas, and I'll either have it like in my notes section on my phone, or I'll just, I'll be like scrolling and I'll see something that I like and I'll just screenshot it or something. So I always have like reference images, and then I'll just go throughout the day, and it'll kind of like keep like rotating in my mind, like an image or a thought or something. So then I have to get like a main image out. So it starts out with like one big image or one solid image, and then I work around there. These pieces, what's funny is my upstairs neighbor flooded my apartment.
No.
So yeah, so I had to go. Like it was a whole lot of shit.
That's what you told me about
Yeah,
recently.
yeah. So I had to go live in a hotel for like a year, not a year, a month. What am I talking about? It was like a month, like 4 weeks. So I made these 4 pieces while I was in the hotel, because I kind of wanted to push myself, because you always hear artists, some artists are made through adversity. So I was like, I got a little adversity right now. Let's see what I can make. See if it's dope. So I came up with these 4 pieces before the show that I did in Santa Monica. So
where'd you do the show at?
it was at the Santa Monica airport.
Oh yeah,
Parker
yeah. That place is, well, it's a hidden gem.
Yeah, they have a lot of cool shows there, man. It's funny because I met a guy and he was like, "Yeah, I just did a show there for like Universal Music Group." So it's like there's always something cool going on there.
They have you seen the spot right by the train station? It's it's like,
Santa Monica?
yeah, it's in Santa Monica. It's right by, it's not the train station, but the metro on like 20th in Colorado.
I didn't see it.
It's pretty cool. It's there are like a bunch of different hangars, and a lot of people just go and they'll have their art up, and it's this cool like almost commune. It's like high end art commune. It's pretty. I think you'd like it. It's pretty cool.
Send me that info. I'll check
it out. I got you. So there was a question that I had that was on the tip of my mind, but I got myself on a tangent.
How do I like start the pieces?
Oh yeah. So how often is it that you create a piece and you're like, no, I don't, scratch that. I'm going to something else completely.
How often? Not very often now, but earlier in my art career, yeah, because I didn't have a direction, and that's the main thing about being an artist. You have to find your signature look, like your style, your sound, So yeah, it took me a while. It took me maybe like, I don't know, close 5 to 10 years to get my signature look, because I was really stuffy and trying to just do portraits and stuff in the beginning of my art career, like trying to be fancy and then it really wasn't me. Once I was like, step back and be done, I'd be like, yeah, that's dope, but it's not me. I got a couple cool ones that I like, but it wasn't me, So I went back to where we're talking about with the comic books, and when I fell in love with art, music, graffiti, hip hop, skateboarding, all this stuff at once, So that's what my art gives.
That's what I found really cool about your blog, and I keep going back to it because it was dope. I got to see kind of your transition throughout because the farther you scroll back, the more portraits that I saw.
Oh yeah, the series.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was really cool to see your art evolve, as I was like scrolling down on the videos and the interviews and things.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I love being able to have something tangible to look back on.
Yeah,
like that. I'm hoping with this podcast in like 10 years, I can look back on some episodes like, oh, I forgot, that was cool. You know what I mean? That was dope. Yeah.
Yeah, I have like one of the first pieces I ever painted. It was like a double panel, like wooden piece, and like one of the panels is just in my closet. I just leave it there. So every now and then I look at it and be like, damn,
come a long way.
Yeah. It's funny. I have a dentist, and I would show her my artwork, and she was like, that's nice. And now she's like, oh,
yeah.
And she'd be like, you come so far. A little Armenian lady. She's amazing, but she kept it real with me. She wasn't sugarcoating shit. She was like,
Yeah, the dentist should tell you when your teeth are crooked and when your art's messed up.
Right? They'll keep it real with you because they don't have to lie. For
Uh-huh.
what? She don't have nothing invested. You know.
Uh-huh.
Some people blow, smoke up your ass and be like, "Oh, this is dope,"
Which is like the worst thing for you.
Yeah.
It's all the validation is good so long as it's honest.
Yeah, it has to be honest. I'd rather you tell me my shit's whack, start over, paint over this one, than be like, "Oh, that shit's fire," and then
you're on a path that you shouldn't be on.
Yeah. Let me know. It's just like anything in life. If I'm doing something, I would expect people that love me or want to see me win to let me know that, hey, that's not it. If I'm acting a certain way or anything, like, yo, calm down. Or you in the club acting crazy, yeah, chill out. It's not for you right now.
That's a good friend. That the friend that's having that honest conversation.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want no yes men in your life. Because they're gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, saying yes, 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 and then once the wheels fall off, you're like, oh, I'm gone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So at this point in your career, I've looking online. You're selling pieces, from $7,500 to $30,000-$40,000. What does it look like for an artist, but also a Black artist, to punch through a ceiling like that?
Man, honestly, it's just amazing that, people would want to give you money so they can have your art in their home. That's an honor in itself, regardless of whatever price they're paying, to all the artists out there. If you're getting $100, that's something. And somebody wants to give you money so they can have your work. It's a super humbling experience. But to break 5 and 10K and just keep going, it's like, my ultimate goal is to at least get one for 100K, one of the larger ones. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put it out there. Somebody's gonna want it one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like as an artist, like people, like they'll see me out and they'll ask me, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "I'm an artist." They're like, "Oh, I haven't heard your music." Oh. And it's like the first thing they think of when you say artist now is rapper, or it has something to do with music. So I want to change that narrative where it's like, an artist, a painter, a visual artist can be the guy having fun in the club with a bunch of chains on and going to the movie premiere and doing this and doing it big. It doesn't just have to be a rapper,
I agree with you. Yeah, I think someone like you, especially for, let's just be, candid about it. I think someone like you, for Black people to see, because a lot of times, I don't know if you experience the same thing, but in LA, they look at me, and you're tall too. I know you used to hoop, but what team do you play for? Or like, and you are like withered down to just like one, minute option of like what your life could be.
Which is like how small the population?
Exactly. Like, and it's like, so being able to kind of reclaim the word artist, I think is dope, because a lot of times, as a Black man, you think about rap, you're probably thinking about Black people, you know what I mean? And then you're thinking about art, you see a Black dude doing art, oh, he must be a rapper, or he must, so being able to reclaim that and remind people that, not only as an artist do you have more to offer than just, music or whatever the surface level thing is, but as a Black person, you have other options within art.
Besides just art, besides anything, we can't be pigeonholed. You see a tall Black guy, that doesn't necessarily mean he hoops. I didn't know, and you told me you play water polo, so that's super dope.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate that.
I love swimming, so that's awesome. A lot of Black people can't swim. Well, it's a stigma. I think a lot of us can, but some women don't want to get wet or this and that. But
and also a lot of people haven't been introduced to pools.
In your inner city, there's no probably pools or clothes, stuff like that. So things like that happen. I was fortunate to live in Silver Lake, and right outside my window was a swimming pool and a jacuzzi. So it was like, there was no choice. I had to learn. It's right there. So it's just, again, you have to take the opportunities that life gives you and just make the most of it, and don't just squander them. But swimming is important. It's amazing just to go to the beach and just get in the water and not be afraid.
It really, to be honest, it's like an empowering. I think it's an empowering thing. I had when I was in college, I had one of my buddies, Johnny. He came out and stayed with us, and at the time, I went to Pepperdine. Okay. And I was living
campus. Huh?
Man, it was
right there.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's always crazy when I drive by and I see all those flags on, what is it, 4th
Oh,
of
on
July?
PC. Yeah. 4th of July.
4th of
It's
July
they do
or
it for Veterans Day.
Veterans Day?
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
flags.
But yeah, the campus is incredible.
So what about Johnny?
Oh, so he came out and visited one time, and man, I can't speak for him because I don't remember, but I don't think he knew how to swim. And we took him to the beach one day, and we were just, I played water polo, so I'm jumping in. My couple of buddies were in the water, like trying to body surf and stuff. I remember Johnny was just timid standing on the beach, and he was just like kind of looking at us. And you could tell when somebody's wheels are turning, like they really want to like give something a try.
Yeah.
But they just, I don't think he knew or felt comfortable being in at least in the ocean, because they were pretty big waves.
Beast.
Yeah. But long story short, we got him to get out in the water. The first wave took him, man, and he disappeared, and all I saw was his feet out of the water like that. It was crazy. I had to send this clip to him because yeah, it was crazy. It was
hilarious. But yeah, those waves, man, they tell you don't turn your back on the ocean.
Yeah, it'll get you.
Those waves will knock you out. That sounds like me when I try to surf, man. I can't surf. I've tried, but every time, because I can skateboard and I can snowboard, but every time I surf, it's like the ground is moving. Like the stuff I'm supposed to stand on is moving. It's difficult for me, but I've wiped out a couple times surfing, and my feet have been like straight up in the air. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think surfing to me is one of the scariest experiences, because they're like,
people don't
think also, like when you're surfing around people, but also like the variable of the unknown under you. That's what scares me so much.
Yeah, because you're a thinker. Like some people are just like oblivious, but I'm always like,
what's
the
worst?
Shark like under me, just like thinking I'm food right now, or a seal or something,
or a reef that could just get you. Like,
yeah, you feel something brush against your feet. You're like,
yeah.
So I get it. Surfing's its own beast.
So were you always into, I guess, I don't know what kind of sports you would consider snowboarding and skating? Like,
they call it like exports. Extreme sports.
Were you always into kind of extreme sports growing up, as well as like basketball and stuff?
Yeah, initially it was just hoops, and then California, I got my first skateboard, and then it's so freeing when you get a skateboard. It's like your first bike or whatever. It's like a car. It's like I can go anywhere I want, So yeah, and I would just try to outdo my homie. I had a homie named Douglas Chewy. If you're out there, man, I need to holler at you. I haven't seen this guy in years, but he was like my best friend, dude, Korean dude, and we would just skate everywhere. Like we would go to Hollywood, and that was like a trek, even though Hollywood wasn't far from where we were, but it just seemed like,
especially at a young age, like the world is so big,
and that was the key, just to get to Hollywood, because the ground is smooth with the stars. There's like not a bunch of cracks, so we're like, man, smooth ass, and it was like a trek, and we did it. But yeah, I was always like trying to outdo him, because he was like the technical guy, and I was just like go big guy. Like he would do all like the flip tricks, but I would just like go off of higher things, like ollie off more stairs than him. So yeah, it was always fun, but you would twist your ankle and all kind of stuff, come home with road rash, all kinds of shit, but it's just a part of the sport.
Yeah, that's something I respect so much about skate culture, is like there's so much resilience built into it. It's like literally the sport is based off of like who can try a trick and fall and get up the most times. That's like really,
That's exactly what it is. You have to keep trying the same trick over and over until you master it, and then like even if you land it once or twice, it's still not mastered where you can like do it going full speed. Full speed is like, and then you can just crack whatever trick you do. Okay, then it's mastered. But if you're just standing there and you're like,
you're done.
Yeah, you're not really skating. But yeah, that was like my first car, man. We would go everywhere. We would try to, we have a little snack, eat something, and then just go skate for the whole day. And it's crazy when you're young, man. You don't realize like, that was strenuous. That was a lot of, and then you're like barely sweating. Like you had a whole day of activity. Now I play one game of basketball, my whole shirt's wet.
Bro, Let me tell you, one game, bro. So I have a group that we play together every Tuesday and Thursday.
Really? Where?
At Equinox.
Indoor?
Yeah, indoor. If you want to come, we play early morning though.
I'll pull up.
All right, yeah. Well, you could come whenever you want.
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday mornings we play.
I'm down.
But and it's good runs too.
Yeah.
But when let's say I take like a week off and not playing or like a day. Oh my gosh, I never used to stretch. I never had to stretch. Last year, I didn't play for probably like 2 months. I forgot what happened. I wasn't hooping, and I started playing again. The first time I played, my chest was hurting like extremely bad when I was hooping, and then when I got home, man, I had a headache. My back is sore. I'm like, bro, what's going on? Like this is it's crazy.
It's different. Aging is crazy. Now I see why they say LeBron spends so much money on his body.
Yeah, you have to be able to operate at that capacity at his age is like.
Yeah, but I remember like you said, never stretching. I just go to the park and serve fools.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. I remember coming from LA, going back to Chicago, and like my dad and my cousins just basically like showing me off, like going to every park, like, yeah, that's my cousin, that's my son, y'all can't beat him, like really talking that shit, and I had to back it up. So it's like, it was crazy. Honestly, I thought I was gonna go to the league because everywhere I went, I would serve people.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't do was practice on my game. You know, I had the talent, but you still have to put in the work, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I can just go to a park and put up 20 and it's like nothing. But it's like once every level you hit, it's going to be harder and harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And there's always that person that's like, well, we're just messing around or whatever. That's putting in that work too. It's demons.
Yeah.
So speaking of basketball, what was your basketball career like? Did you play in high school only? And
it didn't go too crazy because from Silver Lake we moved out to Duarte, and then from Duarte I moved to Diamond Bar, and I played on a good team there, and I think we won state for our division, like 8th grade or something like that. So that was a good team. And then Mom was like, we're going to Atlanta. And I was like, what? I'm going to Atlanta. Why are we going to Atlanta? I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you don't have no choice. But so we went. I tried to hoop there, but it seemed like every team, the coach wasn't feeling me. Or I would be just like the last cut on the team or something. So it's like, it never really fulfilled itself. So once I realized it wasn't going to happen, I just focused on other things, just being creative, you know.
I mean, that might have been a blessing in disguise.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like I was telling you earlier before we got on camera, it's like, how long can you be an athlete?
Mm-hmm.
The longest was what, Kobe, 20 years. Now that's
crazy.
That's an elite level of staying at a great, you know, being a great athlete. But it's like, how long can other people sustain it? Some people are like in the NFL for 4 to 6 years.
Yeah, you know? I think like the average is like 2 to 4 years, something like that.
So they spend all their young life trying to get to this level, and then 2 years, and then like after that,
what do you do?
Yeah,
that's the funny thing. I think a lot of people I feel like the majority of people that consume sports, like high level sports, didn't play like high level sports. Like they didn't play like, you know, high major basketball or like, you know, high level football or this, that, and the other.
They don't know what it takes.
Yeah. And they're, you know, they put so much judgment on, oh, this guy only did this or this guy did that. I have a buddy that plays in the MLB, and he's a pitcher, and I love this dude, like good dude, like just a great dude. And, you know, he has like crushed through so many trials, not only in his personal life, but also in the league. And then, you know, he'll have great games, and then one game, you know, he doesn't play his best. And then you have people, oh, what the hell, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, if only you knew, like you sitting on your couch, you know what I mean, watching this dude while you're eating popcorn, Cheetos. It's like, come on, bro, you don't have the right to like be talking crazy like this, you know.
He's an athlete. He's not a robot.
Yeah,
it's like he's entitled to have a bad game.
Yeah, and under the athlete is a human.
Yeah,
you know, like he's got personal stuff. He got this.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't know what's going on in his personal life. Just like, you stop.
Yeah,
like, shut up. Bro.
Yeah. You don't know what's going. Yeah,
you get out here and hit this 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You jerk.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's always funny to see that happen. So going forward for you, what's like on the horizon? Like, I know you set kind of a monetary goal of what you want to sell, a piece or two for,
Yeah,
but what's kind of the next step for your artistic career?
we're just getting my art on people's walls, and just more eyes to see
Mm.
my work. I've been talking to a couple of people. I might just gift some pieces to people. Um, I kind of just play it by ear. It's all organic with my art career. It's like I
Mm.
plan it, but it's like I don't have a manager or anything like that, so it's just me. So it's like,
Mm.
uh, you know, I'll have a goal or something like, oh, I want to do this by the summer, or I want to do this by the end of the year. This summer, I'm trying to do a solo show on the west side, maybe off of Doheny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have a friend that has a gallery there. So hopefully that'll get opened up, and I'll have maybe a week or so there. So I'll have
Let
like
me know. I'll pull up for
yeah,
sure.
I'll have a nice little grand opening, like little rinse and repeat where you take
Uh,
pictures and then walk through the gallery, see what you like. Yeah.
that'd be dope. Yeah.
So yeah, that's the near future. So hopefully, yeah, a solo show maybe in a couple of months, and then do the mural in New York, and then towards the end of the year, I always go to Art Basel in Miami every December. You got to.
Uh,
That's just mandatory. If you're an artist, you got to
you
be
got it.
there. Like,
Yeah.
it was a funny story. I wasn't gonna go this past December, right? I was like, oh, I don't know, my money's not right. I don't know if I should drop a ticket, And I started seeing all my artist homies landing. Like, yeah, I'm in Miami. I'm in
Mm.
Miami. I was like, oh fuck, okay.
Uh-huh.
Let me find a ticket online. I found a nice little affordable ticket. Went down there with a couple of my punching bags.
Uh-huh.
I paint punching bags also. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw
really?
it.
No, I didn't see him.
Yeah, you got to go on the site. They have a
Yeah.
whole section that says punching bags.
No, I'll look. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
look.
because I used to like not anything like serious, but I used to box at a place called Elite MMA in
Hmm.
Calabasas.
Okay.
Bass Rudin and Randy Katami and all those guys.
Big names.
So yeah, I always like to punch. So I was like, man, I might as well try to, incorporate boxing and art and see what happens. So yeah, I went to Miami, brought 3 of my punching bags, and one of my good friends bought one. So it's like I wasn't even planning to go to Miami. Went to Miami, sold the punching bag.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, okay, that's just another affirmation. Like, you're on the right path.
Mhm.
You should always be here.
Mhm.
Anytime something is going on, especially in Miami, as far as art, you should be there.
Yeah. It's always nice when you get that little like hit of just a reminder. I think it's more than like affirmation or whatever, but it's just a reminder to be like, okay, just keep going.
Yeah, I feel like it's whatever you believe. I just think if you're doing the right thing, God's kind of like, he kind of gives you breadcrumbs. Like, yeah, you're doing the right thing. Like, keep going. Don't give up. You might have a little struggle, but you don't do this. Some people think it's the universe, whatever you believe in. But I feel like you have to be moving. You
Absolutely.
can't just be stagnant and just sitting still. Like they say, creativity has to catch you working.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything else that you'd like to kind of share with people? Like maybe something you have coming up, something you like to like, let the world know about what you got going or yourself?
Just go to the website. I put everything up there, or my Instagram. Again, in short term, the solo show, I'll probably maybe show like, I'm thinking maybe if it's big enough, I can show 10 pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll probably show 10 larger pieces, maybe 8 to 10 punching bags, and just have a nice little ambiance and
Mm-hmm.
cool. I have a couple of DJ friends, so I'm trying to figure out a nice DJ to set the mood. It has to be a vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Music and art, it has to be a vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for that.
Thank
I'm excited
you.
for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm a creative. So if I feel like it, I'm gonna do it.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I'm feeling like, oh, I want to make like some fashion or whatever. Last year I bought a sewing machine,
Mhm.
right? So I started playing around with stuff like that, and jackets and patches, and I made these jeans. Actually, I made them longer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because your jeans are dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're dope.
Yeah, they're just
Like,
I threw an extra leg on them. Basically, made them longer, and then threw some bleach on them. You know, so
yeah, those are fire. They're like kind of stacked pants.
yeah, stack. Yeah.
Yeah, those are, I actually just ordered a pair. I was pissed.
How much were they? Crazy, huh?
No,
Not too much.
I ordered. They were like $100 or something, but which is like
that's regular. That's
but they online they looked dope. But when I got them, they had like these little patches on them. I was like, dang, because they look really cheap. The packages.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and take the patches off. See if because my girlfriend, she's a stylist.
Okay.
And she wants to learn how to sew, so I'm hoping that maybe I can help her get that started because she would be great.
Yeah, help her with that shit. Honestly, sewing is fun, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like intricate, you know, tedious. Yeah, but if you get a good machine, like you're good to go.
Did you take classes or anything, or you just on your own?
YouTube, everything. Like I wanted to, because I saw some stacked jeans and I was like, these are dope, and they're like hella expensive. I'm like, man, I'm not paying that. I was like, I can do this. Yeah. I always feel like we were talking about, like you're the hero in your own movie, so I always feel like I can do whatever, anything. Like anything is possible. That's how I have the mindset. So I saw I could do this shit. And I was like, I'm gonna go buy a couple pair of jeans and play around with it. I got the sewing machine. Cut the legs off, lined them up, and stitched it. It was like, okay, I did like maybe 4 or 5 pair. Like the first 2 were trash. Like there was like gaps in the stitching and stuff like that. But then like I got better and better. Yeah. So it's like it's just practice.
I think that's a healthy mentality to like, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you're realistic. You're obviously clearly a realistic person. You told yourself when you were younger, all right, basketball's not gonna it's not gonna do it for me, but I'm going to art or this, that, and the other. But if you can look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yo, I can achieve this, whatever this small goal is. Yeah. I think that's what propels people to like continue or like persevere. You know what I mean? It's helped you, like, maybe your second piece that you put out, you didn't sell it, but like, you made another one and it sold. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, it's all about perseverance. It's all about you get knocked down and you get back up. You get 10 no's, you keep going till you get that yes. You know what I'm saying? And that's just life in general. It doesn't have to do with art. It's just anything. You have to be resilient, or this life is going to beat you up. Right? Yeah. In anything, like acting, like, how many no's those people get? Like they try out for role after role after role till they finally get that role. So it's kind of just like art. I'm gonna keep painting and painting and painting till I sell that one piece where it's like, oh, that was the one that propelled me to the stratosphere.
Yeah. So before we cut off, I do, speaking of propel you to the stratosphere, because I really love this piece too. I just want to put it right here in the middle so that you can at least talk about it, and maybe this one back here too, because you can't see it as much.
You can probably put this one in front of this one.
Okay.
I'll let people know what this is about. So yeah, that one is basically about so this is about the power of the P is the title, right? And the woman is obviously angry. My body, my choice worldwide. So it's like, stop trying to control women's bodies. How do you play a record? Why are we still playing the same broken record over and over again? That's the question. Why are we still? And then if anyone knows what this is, Mario goes back to my video game days. So I always, throw a little homage to my video game days and just when I fell in love with this. But you got the 3DP, that stands for women's privates.
Yeah.
But and you got the silhouette of supposedly Jesus open on Sunday. It's basically like why are right-wing conservative Christians trying to control people's bodies? God gave you the free will to be a human, so you can do what you want, right? So let's not try to control people. Let them do what they want to do.
I like this. It's cool that you're making such like a quote unquote political statement into. You're also integrating like like P, shoot, pushing P, this, that, and the other. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's you kind of make it into something that fits in with socially, you know what I mean? And I hate just saying the word cool because there are so many other ways to describe your art, but you make it kind of cool to have a political conversation, which kind of takes away from that edge that politics and everything has. So I think that's really cool. I want to put this one up too.
Let's do it. So so this one's about politics. Check. This is about politics. Liberals. You got the R for Republicans. I have some Republican friends, but I made it hollow like this because sometimes they all have like topics that they want to dive in, but then when you dive in, it's like they don't have any substance to it. It's just a talking point, So basically, this is about just having thick skin, and if you don't have thick skin, like a Superman, you're gonna get taken to the wolves, because politics is a grimy sport, and as we know, America has always been in debt ever since we've been born. So this note is for all debts, public and private. And I put the star in there because, like the little victories that you get, like in politics where something goes your way, you're like, yeah. And then next thing you know, it's like the other side try to combat you. So it's like that little bit of like when you're playing video games and you got the star, you're feeling invincible for like a quick 10 seconds. And it's like, oh, it dies out. So that's kind of how it is in politics, political victories and stuff like that. What's crazy is when I was in college, I thought, people tell you, oh, you should do this, you should do that. So I was studying political science, so I thought I wanted to be an attorney, all this stuff, but, the creator person in me came out. But so you'll see like political commentary in my work, a lot of stuff that's, for what I stand for and what I believe in. And it's not me shoving it down anyone's throat. It's just making it fun, digestible.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like so tiring, when you just said you have friends that are Republican, this, that, I'm sure that fall all over the spectrum, right? And I'm sure that we would have views that we don't agree on or align with 100%, but like, if you can't sit down and have just a civil conversation or just a conversation with each other and like entertain the thought, or, you know what I mean? Just let you speak your piece and then let me speak my piece and, agree to disagree, whatever. How can we ever move forward? It's like
you won't ever move forward if you can't talk and at least try to have empathy.
Empathy.
Feel this person's point of view. It's not just listen and then formulate my point of view while you're talking. It's like actually listen, empathize, see where they're coming from, and then if it aligns with you, to be like, okay. If not, tell them why it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's we're all individuals. We all have opinions. Everyone's not going to have the same opinion. Black people aren't a monolith. We don't all think the same. We're supposed to, have dialogue and do stuff. And I believe, artists are always those people that push dialogue and push thought and like, oh, let's talk about this subject and let's move forward as a people.
Absolutely. I think artists, and I mean, for this, I would separate artists and comedy, but comics, I think, help push that too, especially right now. It's like the comedy scene, I think, is doing a lot of important things by like having these conversations or like these commentaries that people are having and these opinions that people are having are so brazen in their comedy. But, it kind of, it lessens the blow that, someone who doesn't think the same
is. It has to be the same. And if things are done comedically and with no harm, then it's fine, and people should be able to distinguish the two. Someone's not like on stage bullying people. They're just making a joke or making light of a subject. And I think comedians should be able to do that. Like back in the day, Red Fox and Richard Pryor, they were saying crazy shit. Richard Pryor was saying the N-word on like TV, and the lady was like, "I can't say that." And he's like, "Sure you can. I'll help you." Like,
that was crazy.
It's like he was one of those dudes. So it's like artists, creatives as a whole, comedians, we push culture.
Absolutely,
it's what we have to do. It's our calling. So it's like, I wouldn't feel right if I didn't put my ideas on these paintings. They're just like random, images. So all of my paintings have, a meaning every brushstroke. So some people are like, "Oh, did you mean to do that? Did you mean to leave like the pencil mark?" I'm like, "Yeah, I wanted to leave to show you that I sketched this, and it's not done like on a computer or with the,
without any thought." Yeah.
So I always been that way. I always like my art to be like a little edgy, a little sloppy, where you can see, okay, this guy's been working on this, and it's not like perfect. I hate when I go in the art gallery and I see like a perfect painting where it's like nothing wrong. I'm like, did you do this, or did you like have a computer print this out and just wrap this canvas? So I like to see like
imperfection.
The edginess. It's like it's me bringing the streets. Like I said, it's me bringing the streets into people's homes. It's like when you're on the street doing it on your own, you don't have time to make a line like exactly perfect. It might be a crack in the wall. So
yeah, that's, and also, I guess on a maybe a heady thought about it is you're also, you say bringing the streets into somebody's house, but also like you're bringing our culture into somebody's house that may not have had a taste of what it would be like. It makes it more palatable when they see someone that looks like us or artistic that they may not speak the same exact language with, but they can relate on this.
It's I love when something like that happens. Like I sold a punching bag to a family that lives in Beverly Hills. The kids were adorable and they kept coming by. Oh, we love it, we love it, we love it. So it's like things like that. If I can touch a kid, and the punching bags all had meaning. It wasn't just like I just put an image of it. So I'm not sure which one. I think hers was. I think it was Popeye. I'm not sure. But they loved it. I put it in their house, and then I sold another one not too long ago, and the lady lived in Manhattan Beach, right? So it's like a black kid from inner city Chicago, like putting a punching bag in an $11 million house in Manhattan Beach. That's like,
who would have thought?
Yeah, it's like I would say I made it, but I'm not there yet. But I just those are little victories that it's like I'm doing what I was put here to do. What I was born to do.
Yeah, I think that's a good note to end off on.
I think that was great.
Yeah. I appreciate you for coming on. Keep inspiring. I'm excited to see your journey, and I'll put all your socials and stuff and your website on here.
Cool.
And
you want to show this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's show this last one. And this one again is about gallery owners are exhausting. You got the gallery owner with the evil grin. You got the cat basically saying it's all about money and fame, and see the other side of fame. This is just like, my street side, just I always either throw a B or a R or some kind of
Bourn Rich, something.
Yeah, something in there. And that just shows my, frustration with gallery owners and how it's all about like, oh, how many followers do you have? And let me see your Instagram. And it's like, it shouldn't be like that. It should be, oh, this is fire. I want to show your work. I want to get it out there to some of my collectors. That's what it should be about. But yeah, this is just showing my frustration with them. That symbolizes me screaming up there. But yeah, man, thank you for having me, man.
It's my pleasure.
Appreciate it, brother.
My pleasure, bro. I hope that this could just be another segue for you to get your art out there.
Yeah. I'm sure something will happen from this because you got a good following, a good audience, and I'm sure you're just gonna get bigger and bigger, bro.
We'll see. Hopefully.
Yeah, the sky's the limit for you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
No doubt, man.
How did it feel?